Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to I Loaf You. So today we're going to be making a French onion soup. So we want to start out by cutting our onions, and then we are going to come back over and get everything put into our pot. So we're going to start with our butter in the bottom of our sauce pot on high heat. We want to get that melted, and we want to brown it up, and we're going to throw our sliced onions in there now as well. We want to get those nice and browned. Now we're going to cook these up until they are nice and caramelized. Alright, so you can see here the onions starting to sweat down a little bit. They're not quite finished. They're not starting to get their brown caramelized color yet, but they will get there. So you just want to keep stirring and keep them cooking. Alright, you can see here, bottom is just starting to turn a little brown and caramelize. And you can smell at this point, well, you can't, but we can, that it's starting to smell a little bit sweeter and a little less oniony, if that makes sense. For anybody that's very susceptible to onions cooking, your eyes water a lot. When you're cooking the onions, at this point you will notice that your eyes start to hurt a little bit less also. So we'll continue cooking it because they're not quite caramelized yet. Alright, so now that our onions are caramelized, you want to do all this before it gets mushy. We are going to add in our beef broth, our Worcestershire sauce, and our spices. Just want to make sure you stir so that your onions are not stuck to the pan as you're adding in your beef broth. We've put in about 4.5–5 cups of the beef broth, about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, about 1.5 teaspoons of oregano, and also of basil. And then we are going to add about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of pepper and about a teaspoon or so of salt. Now salt and pepper you can always add a little bit later on, but you want to get the flavor to incorporate while it's cooking. Now we used basil and oregano as a substitute for thyme because we did not have thyme available to us today. So now we just want to let this cook for a little while. Alright, we're stirring our soup now that we are boiling, and we are going to reduce our temperature, and then we're going to cover and let it simmer. Alright, we have our finished onion soup. So we are going to now remove this from the heat. Alright, so we are going to make our croutons for our French onion soup. So I'm using up leftover of the wheat bread, which we made in a previous video, which I will link up in the corner as well as in the description of the video. So we are just going to cut this up using a serrated knife, and we are going to get them in the oven so they crisp and brown. Alright, so we are going to take our croutons in a bowl, and we're going to add a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt and pepper, and then toss them and get them put onto our sheet pan. So we are going to use French onion soup crocs that we have. So you're going to put your hot soup right into the crock, and we will put our croutons and cheese on it to put in the oven to broil. We are going to take our croutons out into a bowl to cool. So now that we are going to take our crouton and place it right on top of our soup. And we will top it with our sliced Swiss cheese. And we are going to get this in the oven to broil.